Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
You have another Birmingham shooting where 3 are hurt. This happened early Sunday. Sound familiar? In Birmingham's Lakeview district, with all victims hospitalized but expected to survive at the writing of this report. The incident occurred around 3:27 a.m. Yeah, I'm sure if you're out at 3:27 a.m. on Saturday night, things are going really well in your life, and things are going to go really great that next day. No arrest yet. This kind of sounds familiar if you're talking to me about it. To another event where 3 were killed and 17 were injured in a 5 Points South area shooting in Birmingham. Was it 2 weeks ago? I wonder if they're going to be able to blame this on Glock switches. I wonder if that's what they're going to be able to do. We'll see if they try to, or is it just more of the rampant crime that is destroying Birmingham, and Woodfin has not been able to do much about it because he's a sorry mayor.
Number 6.
A vice presidential candidate and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz should stop doing interviews because the man is clearly out of his depth. He goes on Fox News with Shannon Bream, the most milquetoast, bland reporter at Fox News. That's not really a criticism. It's more of just a statement of fact. And he lied and got called out repeatedly. She wrecked him politely. Walz lied about Minnesota's abortion law, women being killed by the repeal of Roe v. Wade. He wouldn't condemn Hamas supporters. He said people don't care about his lying. He touted Harris's non-existent immigration policy. He defended giving illegals driver's licenses. He misled on tariffs and generally got owned by the least aggressive Fox News host employed at the network. If there's another one less aggressive than Shannon Bream, let me know.
Number 5.
Your toilet paper is safe. I mean, it always has been, but it's especially safe now because a deal has been reached over the weekend with the International Longshoremen Association after it launched its first strike in decades. They made a deal basically that said, get us through the election. Whatever. They were demanding 77% pay raises to address inflation over the course of the contract. They took, I think, a 12.5% bump instantly to get back to work. The ports are still going to be affected by some of this because they've got to get the stuff that was already there unloaded and things like that. But they are working again, and this includes Alabama's Port of Mobile. A tentative wage agreement was reached in January of 2025. Maybe they go back at it. It was costing Alabama about $10 million a day and hundreds of millions nationally. So this was a big problem, and luckily it's resolved for now.
Number 4.
After a huge win against Georgia that had some people thinking maybe they'll put a statue of them, the number 1 ranked Alabama football team lost to Vanderbilt in Nashville, and Kalen DeBoer is now on the hot seat? I don't believe that. You're seeing some of that. I think that's nuts. Fans actually took the goalpost and paraded them down Broadway and then threw them in the river. Gross. Have you seen that river? Somehow the blame for this is either current head coach Kalen DeBoer's fault, former head coach Nick Saban's fault, or NIL deal's fault. Pick whoever you want to blame here. The mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed, saluted his alma mater and had an interesting Saturday, tweeting, just got back in to see Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Wow, anchor down. Which, if you're following on social media, is either cringe or awesome, depending on whether or not you went to college or not. And I'm not kidding you. That's how the reaction is split. You reacted one way if you went to college, and another way if you did not.
Number 3.
Alabama United States Senators Katie Britt out of Montgomery and Tommy Tuberville out of Auburn, both Republicans, along with other Republican lawmakers, have demanded answers from Attorney General Merrick Garland regarding the Department of Justice's failure to prevent non-citizens from registering to vote in federal elections. In fact, if you're paying attention, the DOJ is like, hey, how do we go after states like Alabama that are actually trying to make it harder for people to vote who aren't supposed to vote? That's what the DOJ is interested in. They're calling for accountability over the DOJ's refusal to prosecute those illegal immigrants who have registered or voted. Yeah, but the current DOJ seems completely disinterested in such matters because, and I cannot make this any clearer, they believe allowing illegals to vote helps Democrats. There's no other reason. If they thought it hurt them, if there were a bunch of MAGA-wearing illegal immigrants crossing the border, MAGA hat-wearing illegal immigrants, they'd be trying to put them in the electric chair.
Number 2.
Alabama legislators are preparing future legislation, and a potential Kamala Harris presidency has come up, and I don't know if I like that. I really don't. State Senator Chris Elliott, a Republican out of Josephine, is preparing for a potential special session on immigration should Kamala Harris win the presidency. That's interesting. They want to revisit past immigration legislation, which I've talked about here recently, saying we absolutely should. But I'll take it a step further. They should be doing this whether or not Kamala Harris wins or not, because you have a good court matchup right now, so go for that. I love it. Love it. Another piece of legislation, State Representative Matt Simpson out of Dabney pre-filed a bill to make first-degree rape or sodomy of a child 5 years or younger a capital offense, which I'm surprised it's not already, punishable by death. Some states have done it. Let's see it.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
All right, President Donald Trump returned to Butler, Pennsylvania after someone tried to kill him at that rally to speak to actual Americans. He's also been very concerned about what's going on there in North Carolina and talking about that a lot. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign is apparently so pathetically bad that while all of this is going on in North Carolina, instead of acting like she cares, and I say acting because I doubt she does, they're going on a bunch of weird shows. It's already started. She went on a show called Call Her Daddy, Call Me Daddy, or whatever it is. I think it's called Her Daddy. It was kind of embarrassing. It was. It's gotten so bad for this campaign that Saturday Night Live is mocking it, openly mocking the Democrats and Kamala Harris directly. So she's making herself available to some very safe media outlets. She will appear after appearing on the Smut podcast, Call Her Daddy. She'll go see some brain jackasses on The View, the smartest comedian ever with Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and the rotting corpse of Howard Stern on the Howard Stern Show, which, by the way, nobody listens to. And I'm in the radio business, and I'm telling you, when he made his deal with SiriusXM, people were like, oh my God, this is going to change everything. It changed nothing. Just be clear. He made them a bunch of money, I'm sure, but that was forever ago, and boy, oh boy, does he suck even more than he did then. Okay? Everyone, he gives the best interviews. Does he? Does he? Robin, do you see this girl's tits? Robin. Oh, by the way, Hillary Clinton, tell us about how your husband is a good guy. I mean, that's essentially how stuff goes. She did a recorded fluff piece on 60 Minutes, and now she's going to also do a Univision town hall that will basically be 20 different variations of questions that are basically like, isn't immigration enforcement racist? And don't all Latinos want every single Latino person across the globe to come across our border illegally? And if you think differently, aren't you a racist? That's basically what's going to happen. So there you go. Kamala Harris is doing so pathetically bad that they're trying to actually put her out there, and she's muffing these things. So there we go. We'll talk a little bit about all of that as we move forward on the program. You are more than welcome to jump in here and make your voice heard. It's a very simple thing to do. How? Well, let me tell you. You pick up the phone, talk, or text 866-494-WVNN, 866-494-9866, or you can, of course, email us.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. Very simple stuff here. The DowntownRescueMission.org email inbox. We'll take a time out. We'll get to some of your thoughts. On the other side here, should we start a podcast? Let's try it again. Emily, should we start a podcast called Call Me Mommy?
Absolutely not.
Why not? Call him Mommy. I'll give you sex advice. Go ahead, ask your sex questions.
No, Dale.
I will give them to you. I will give them to you. Now, if it's Kamala Harris going on there, it could be both a sex podcast and a career advice podcast.
Okay.
Just throwing that out. That out there. That it's an opportunity to talk to young women about how they can get ahead. Let's take a time out. We'll be right back. It is the Dale Jackson Show.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.